All right, let's talk about how companies are built. For the longest time, it's all been about that classic pyramid structure, right? But that's starting to feel, well, a little old school. So we're going to dig into what's rising to take its place, the network organization. Let's really get into the anatomy of this thing and see what makes it tick.
So, let me just throw this out there. What if a company wasn't a pyramid at all? What if it was more like a spider's web? Think about it. Super dynamic, everything connected, totally flexible. That's the core idea we're going to unravel today.
Okay, so what in the world is a network structure? Well, here's the deal. It's a model where a company keeps its central core super small and lean. I mean, really lean. And then pretty much everything else, we're talking manufacturing, marketing, you name it, gets outsourced to this network of partners and specialists. The whole philosophy is to just focus on the one thing you do better than anyone else and let other experts handle the rest. So here's our game plan. We'll start by picturing this thing as a web. Then we'll jump into the good versus the bad, the real trade-offs. After that, we'll see how it actually works under the hood, why it's built for constant change, and of course, what it all means for the people involved. And at the end, we'll tackle the big one. Is this the right move for you? Let's jump in.
All right, first up, the good versus the bad. And look, I want to be super clear here. The network model is not some magic fix for everything. It's got some incredibly powerful upsides for sure, but they come with some pretty serious challenges on the flip side.
And what's so fascinating here is how every single strength seems to have a weakness shadowing it. On one hand, you get this amazing, unparalleled flexibility. You can tap into talent from anywhere in the world, which is awesome for lowering your overhead costs and making decisions way faster. But, and it's a big but, you give up a ton of direct control. You end up relying so heavily on your partners, which means keeping quality consistent can be a real headache. You're basically swapping command for agility.
Okay, so how does a company like this actually run day to day? It sounds a bit chaotic, right? Let's pull back the curtain and dissect the operating system that keeps this whole web from tangling up, from who calls the shots to who's on the hook when things go wrong.
This quote just nails the biggest change. In a typical company, authority flows from the top down. Here, it's completely decentralized. The power to make decisions isn't locked away in the C-suite. It's pushed out to the project managers, the teams, and even the external partners, the people who actually have the expertise. And that is the secret ingredient to its speed.
And you can see exactly how that power gets spread around. The executive core, they're not gone, but their job totally changes. They're now the strategists, looking at the big picture. Meanwhile, the day-to-day choices, the actual execution, that's all handled by empowered teams and those outside experts. The main thing to get here is that control is spread out, not hoarded at the top.
This also means communication gets a complete makeover. You can just forget about climbing the corporate ladder to get an answer. Here, information flows like a web, horizontally, diagonally, bouncing between all the different parts of the network. Now, for this to not turn into total chaos, you absolutely need top-notch IT systems and a culture that's built on transparency. Otherwise, you'll get information silos, and the whole thing just falls apart.
So, you might be thinking, with everyone so spread out, how does anyone stay accountable? Well, it all boils down to being crystal clear. First, you need rock-solid contracts that spell out exactly who's responsible for what. Second, you need clear performance metrics to track progress and make sure standards are being met. And third, you need constant, open communication so problems get flagged and fixed early. Without those three pillars, believe me, this whole structure can just crumble.
Now let's talk about one of the biggest motivators here, the cost. And the financial difference is just stark. A traditional company is often weighed down by huge fixed costs. Big office buildings, tons of middle managers. The network org, it slashes those costs by outsourcing. This super lean financial setup gives it a massive competitive edge.
Okay, next up, let's look at how this structure is basically designed for a world that never stops changing. It's not just about being lean, its entire DNA is geared toward being adaptable, scaling up or down, and staying perfectly aligned with a market that's in constant motion.
So how do you grow a company like this? It's actually pretty brilliant. It's modular. You don't have to go through some massive, painful restructuring. You just add new partners or spin up new project teams. It's like plugging in new components to a computer. This makes scaling up, or even scaling down, incredibly simple and flexible.
So where does this model really truly shine? Well, think about industries that are always in flux, like tech or fashion or entertainment. If your business is driven by projects, if you need to innovate constantly, or if you're trying to leverage expertise from all over the globe, the network structure is pretty much a perfect match. It's built for any strategy that prizes agility over old-school stability.
But
And this is important. Making this thing last takes real discipline. The key to sustainability is that you have to actively manage the network. You can't just set it and forget it. That means defining roles with absolute clarity, investing heavily in real-time communication, and, this one's critical, choosing partners whose values and standards actually align with yours. You have to be constantly monitoring every part of the network. It's not micromanagement, it's essential maintenance to keep it from flying apart.
We've gone through the mechanics and the strategy, but what about the people? What's it actually like to work inside one of these networks? What kind of culture does it create? And what does it do to a person's career path? This kind of structure acts like a cultural filter for talent, and it's pretty powerful. If you're an entrepreneurial type, someone who loves autonomy and jumping between different projects, you're gonna thrive here. But if you're someone who really values stability and a clear, predictable career ladder, you might feel completely lost in all the fluidity. It creates a culture of really high trust and radical autonomy, and let's be honest, that's just not for everyone.
And from a pure HR and finance perspective, this means the financial load is way, way lighter. Since so many functions are outsourced, you just don't need a deep bench of middle managers to oversee everything. The executive team can stay lean and focused on what they should be focused on: strategy, not putting out fires.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's wrap this all up with the final takeaway and get to the ultimate question. Is this structure actually the right fit for your organization? If there's only one thing you remember from all this, let it be this. The network structure is built on one giant, fundamental trade-off. You are exchanging the deep internal scale you get from having one massive company for the broad, agile capacity you get from having many, many collaborators. It's depth versus breadth. So, I'll leave you with this question to chew on. We all know that every organization is trying to be more agile these days. Is blowing up the old hierarchy the real answer? The potential upside is absolutely huge, but as we've seen, the risks and challenges are just as real. The right choice really depends on your strategy, your culture, and maybe, most importantly, how comfortable you are with a whole new way of being in control.